Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts, in my voice, on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Now, So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow. So go ahead and hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button. And turn on that little bell so that you get a notification every single time that I go live or I upload something new. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Hello, beautiful people. How are you? Good evening. I hope you've been having a great week so far. What is today? Tuesday? Today is Tuesday or Wednesday? Today is Wednesday. Hey, Key Banana. It's Wednesday. This week is already it's flying by. Um, wait, what is this? I know we have several pen pals. Wait, where did that go? Dear to my heart. That are in the military. Da, da, da. Right. Part of what I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about really briefly. I'm sure some of you have been paying attention to um the news and what's happening in Iran and all of that. I just wanted to remind you to get some gas. Put some gas in your car because gas prices are about to skyrocket. They may have already started going up in your area. Um, I got some gas earlier today, but I have to go back out. So I'm going to get some gas in the car the next time. But I think what I'm going to be doing for a little while is probably drive the Jeep because it's a hybrid, and I can pretty much do everything I need to do on electricity. It usually will last me about a week before I have to fill up in the Jeep because I can drive on, the electricity. But I just wanted to let you know, definitely um, get you some gas. And if you're going to stock up on gas, like if you're going to get like gas cans or something like that, be safe and be mindful of how you store it. Don't have that shit in no flammable place and shit. Don't have the house catching on fire because you and put it in a decent place, niece. Um, so I wanted to tell you all that. Gas is definitely getting high. When they started talking about that shit the other day, because I really meant to get gas yesterday or the day before when I first heard them talking about, um, they talk about these military ships getting blown up and all this other nonsense. And quite frankly, a lot of the fuel and that kind of stuff comes from over there anyway. So even when they were talking about bombing them, I should have gotten gas that first day, but um yeah, just be mindful and definitely start stocking up on like your essentials, um on your essential stuff, things that you're going to need, because this is really going to just be an excuse for them to start going up on everything. um I mean, I still have like a lot of the basic stuff like trash bags and toilet paper, paper towels, laundry detergent, shower gel. You know what I'm saying? Like those kind of things that you're gonna need, that you're gonna use. Definitely stock up on that kind of stuff, if you can. But yeah, so it's just a mess. But I didn't want to talk about that. I just wanted to kind of say that before I forgot. Somebody just said in North Carolina, Quick Trip was 237, and now it's 299. But yeah, it's definitely going up. Uh, I am going to dinner this evening with Jack and Elliot. Um, I'll get a little Patreon from that. Um, I just was going to tell you guys that, yeah, listen, my garage is full of toilet paper and paper towels. I just wanted to say, like, you know, and this is not for you guys to reach out to Elliot or anything like that. I'm just talking to you guys. This is just one of those teachable moments. And because it's happening around me, I figured I would share it with you because it may be happening around you too. And it just may be a reminder for you to reach out to the people around you. So again, you don't necessarily have to reach out to Elliot. But I think many of you know that I think I may have shared it with you guys. I don't know if I shared it on uh, Patreon or not, but here you go. Elliot had a friend, just a friend, who was staying with him for about 7 years. And they were really good friends. They had been good friends for a long time, and then he started staying with Elliot. And he passed away. And Elliot found him. This was before we went to Africa, so I don't remember exactly what month it was. We went to Africa in December, so it was sometimes I did share that with you. Okay, and so eh, here's the thing: when you're friends with people or your family, you pay attention to them, right? Like you pay attention to the people that you care about, the people that you're in network with, the people that are in your tribe. And I just noticed like before we went to Africa that he just wasn't really the same. Like we had filmed the Black Gay and Aging um uh thing here, that last one that I put out. I can't remember what month it was, the telling our stories. And I noticed there he wasn't as social as he normally would be, and he wasn't really social, just when we were around each other. And then when we went to Africa, he was kind of breaking out of it, right? I think because it was a completely different geography, and then just being in Africa, it's just like you just don't have a care in the world as a visitor. I'm sure people who live there, have worries and concerns and thoughts, but it was just so amazing for us. We were just like, wow, this is Africa. So it took it, his mind was kind of off of it then. Because we had so much activity every day too, and the fact that this man died in his house in the guest bedroom upstairs and Elliot found him. I think being back home has kind of put him back in a space. And so I reached out to Jack the other day, last week or over the weekend, and I said, he's a little off to me again. I said, he's still a little off to me. I said, he kind of lifted a little bit when we went away. But then since we've been back, yeah, it's that daily reminder of him being in that house you know, and then having to get rid of the man's stuff that was in the room. And then he had a PO box where the mail was coming to Elliot's house, so Elliot had to go and close the PO box. He had to wait to get the death certificate and all of that stuff because they wouldn't let him close it until he got that. So just those reminders, right? So since we've been back from Africa, Elliot has been on 2 trips, 2 cruises, and I'm just like, what you running from? And so I called him the other day and I said, are you okay? I said, because you just seem like you're kind of aloof. And like I said, when we went away to Africa, that was the first time I really kind of saw him kind of come out of it. Because when it first happened, when the man first died and Elliot called me, I said, that's gonna traumatize you. I said, that's gonna traumatize you. I said, you need to probably speak to someone. You probably need to, speak to someone. And, he kept saying, I'm gonna be fine, I'm fine. Of course, he was crying and all of that. But when we went to Africa, he brought some of the ashes so that he could throw them, leave them there. And so he ended up doing it when we were in Cape Town. We did like this. If you're on Patreon, you know what I'm talking about. We did an evening cruise. It was like a sunset cruise, right? And so I said, where are the ashes? Did you throw them out? He said, oh, child, I forgot all about them. I forgot I had them. I said, so you're going to come all the way to Africa and then we're going to take them back? So anyway, so he pulled them out. He dumped them overboard, while we were going through on the water. But like I said, since we've been back, he's been on 2 cruises. And so I'm just like, okay, just making mental notes. And so I said to Jack last weekend, I said, something's going on. I said, because it's like he's kind of recoiled again, if you will. And so She said, "Yeah, I noticed the same thing." And so I called him. So Jack made reservations. So we're going to this little restaurant today. Ryan is going to meet us there. Remind me to come back and tell you about Ryan. Don't let me forget, because you know I will. Um, so Ryan is going to meet us there. And so I called Elliot on the phone the other day and I said, "Hey, I've been thinking." I said, "You just seem," I said, "I don't know." I said, "We haven't really spent a whole lot of time together." And I said, Jack is, because, Jack comes here to cook. I really see Jack now because she comes to cook. But when Jack came over last week, oh, I know y'all won't because y'all nosy. But no, y'all got better memories than I do. But when you guys saw us on the live last week, me, Elliot, and Jack, that was the first time Jack and Elliot had seen each other since before we went to Africa. That was February. We went to Africa in December. So that means she didn't see him since probably November, right? Because we left like December 1st. So she probably hadn't seen, yeah, probably she had probably hadn't seen him since Thanksgiving. Remember, I had Thanksgiving here. And so she hadn't seen him since November, and then she didn't see him until the end of February when she was over here. So I really only, so you guys have been asking, well, where's Elliot and Jack? We missed them and da da da. And so that kind of made me start thinking, like, well, damn, they, meaning you all, I'm like, damn, they haven't seen Jack and Elliot in a while, right? And I knew why you all hadn't seen him because, like I said, he'd gone on two cruises since we've been back. And he and I've been talking on the phone, but I hadn't really put two and two together. And then also, I had been seeing Jack because she was coming here to cook, but I hadn't made the connection that the three of us hadn't been in the same room. And so I said to him when I called, I said, I think it's because I moved a little bit further. I'm only maybe 10 minutes further than the other house. And so, right, we were always at the other house. And that's what I said to him. I said, I don't know if it's because I've moved, even though it's only 10 minutes more, right? And I said, and then Jack is cooking for this other family. So, we like before, like Jack wasn't cooking for another family. We were just getting together when we wanted to get together. And I said, so I don't know. And so he breaks down on the phone and he's crying. And he'll probably see this live. I'm sitting here telling y'all. Um, he breaks down and he starts crying and he says, no, no, first before he starts crying, he says, it's not because you've moved. He said, that's not it. And he said, I just don't know how much time left I have. And that's when he was crying. And he said, wait a minute, Craig. I mean, he was like, he was going in. And he said, wait a minute, just give me a second. And it was just silent. And then he said, not that anything's going on or anything's wrong. He said, I just don't know how much time I have left. And here's the thing, and this is really why I'm taking my time with this new book, because I really feel like so much of what's happening around me now and what's happening in the world really kind of speaks to this book and what I need to say in this book. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to communicate in this book. And that is, we don't know how much time we have here. And this is why I say to you guys, I know I come in here and I cut up and I laugh and I, and we joke and stuff. But literally and truly, when I come on here, 9 times out of 10, again, I know I laugh and I cut up and we joke, but 9 times out of 10, when I come on here, I'm coming on here because I really have something to say to you. I'm not just coming on here just to run up my YouTube check. Like, if I don't have anything to say, I'm not coming on here, right? And when I'm talking to you guys about creating experiences in your life, big or small, I don't care if it's as small as you taking yourself to lunch, because you just need to spend some quality time with yourself, because the world is just moving really fast. And I'm not even talking about with everything that's happening in the world now. I'm just saying in general, the world moves fast. People come, people go. And like, I got a Patreon that I'm going to upload for you guys. I don't know if I'm going to upload it today or not, but it's over an hour long. I'm really trying to get back into this music thing. When I first moved to Atlanta, I had only moved here to write music. If you guys read my first book, you know that. That's the only reason that I moved to Atlanta, was to write music. And life has just kind of taken me in another direction. You know, music just never, I love music so much, but music just never um, paid any bills. And at the end of the day, you know, we got to make a living, right? And so, yeah, I went to LA and I worked with Brandy and did all, but I never had a song on an album. And so I moved away from music and I did all these other different things. But music has been calling me lately. And so I assembled this meeting. Those of you who are on Patreon, you all have seen like little snippets of me getting back into this music thing. But I have a meeting that I just had at the house on Monday, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, and it's like seven of us, and I'm gonna upload it for you. And so it was our initial meeting. I'm assembling like a team of us. It's songwriters. Fenner is there because that's how I know Fenner, because Fenner and I, well, you know, we used to date, and you know, but our connection was music. And so I brought him aboard on board. I brought on board my friend Katrina. She's a songwriter. She's actually had placements. When I say placements, I mean on albums. She did a song for Luther, Aretha Franklin, Shantae Moore. She had a song in the Best Man soundtrack, all that stuff. So anyway, we had a whole full keyboard in here. Like, we were in here coming up with ideas. So we're meeting again this coming Tuesday. So our goal is to, and we're working with Yoshi. She was on The Voice this past season. So anyway, she's the artist. So we're building an EP for her. And so anyway, so that was our initial meeting. But the reason that I'm sharing that part with you is because you really have to take life by the horns. And whatever it is that your spirit, that your soul is calling you to do, you must do it. You must do it, because you don't know how much time you have here. You have to, and here's what I believe. I believe that every single day that you're on the planet and you're not chasing your dream or serving your purpose, you're dying a bit. And I don't mean physically dying. I mean your spirit is dying a bit. Your spirit is dying a bit. And so every single day that you go to a job that you absolutely hate, every single day that you wake up in a home or an apartment or wherever you live that you do not like, every single day that you spend in a relationship that has died, it's been dead. Your spirit, your soul is dying a bit. You have to set yourself free. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that the road is going to be easy, but what I am saying is you prepare yourself as best you can, and you have to trust that the universe is going to make a way. You have to trust that the universe is going to commission and usher in the help and the assistance that you're going to need. It's easy for me to look back now over my journey. It was hard going through the journey, like walking through the journey. But looking back now on the journey, God was there every step of the way. It felt uncertain at the time because, you know, you're just walking and you don't know what's at the end of that road. But now that I can look back at the end of that, God was there every single step of the way. He made sure that he made provisions. Now, you may not always think that when you're on the journey, but it is always there. That support that you need, it is always going to be there. Life would be unfair. Life would be unfair if you weren't supplied with all of the things that you need to do whatever it is that you need to do. And so My friend Danielle was in town briefly on Monday. She was coming back from South Africa and she had a layover here and she extended her layover because I hadn't seen her. We haven't seen each other, I don't know, I guess since the end of last year sometime. And so she came to the house. It was her first time here. And I had my meeting. But when she came through the door, nobody was here yet. When she came through the door, it was just me. And she hugged me. We always hug real deep when we see each other. And she started crying. She's so emotional. And she said, I love you so much. Of course, this is her first time here at the house. She said, I love you so much. And she said, I'm so proud of you. And she said, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember her exact words, but she said, life often gets in the way of friendships. She said, but we've never allowed it to get in the way of ours. I love you for being my friend. Thank you for being my friend. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your friendship. And she said, we have not allowed life to get in the way of our friendship. And it's so true because you never know. You never know if life is going to take you in a different direction. Like people become busy. You know what I mean? People become busy. People get married. People have children. People move away. And so, again, I always try to encourage you guys to, while you're here, live the best quality of life that you can. Put them cigarettes down. Put them motherfucking cigarettes down. Put that hookah down. And I know once upon a time you saw me huff and puff on a hookah every now and then in a previous life. But niece, put that down. Put that hookah down. Put them cigarettes down. Put that bottle down. If you drinking excessively, mm, 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 mm. And and again, like when I share stuff with you guys, whether it's the liquid blends products, I'm really telling you because it is something that I use and something that I swear by. I just started using this other little product. I don't have no deal with them. I don't have no deal with them. But I just took it today. If it works for me, I'm gonna tell you all about it. It's all natural. I'm gonna tell you just like I told you with the liquid blends. You understand what I'm saying? And it just so happened that the liquid blends became a partnership. But I always tell you guys about stuff that works for me. So I'm gonna try it for about 2 weeks, maybe 30 days, and then I'm gonna let y'all know how it worked. Okay. So I want to share this with you, and then I'm gonna tell you about Ryan. So I'm in a group text now with the couples that did the couples uh you know what I'm trying to say, telling our stories. So I'm in a group text with them and Terry, you guys know Terry and Richard, he on the glasses, he on the white sweater, cream sweater. So Terry texted me today. We've been texting every day pretty much since the show aired. They're so excited. They go back and they read the feedback, they read the comments, and they just love the comments, right? And so Terry texted me today or in the group, and he said, Craig, this message is fresh in from my cousin who watched the show and went back to read Words Never Spoken. So I'm reading the message. So then she said, so this is what his cousin says to him. She says, cousin, and she put 5 exclamation points. I just finished Craig's book, Words Never Spoken, and I'm speechless. It was very candid, and now I'm obsessed with him. Oh, wait, that's you? She just happened to be in here. Oh my God, that's you? Oh my God. I want you to know that your message made me cry. It made me cry, but I'm going to read it. Hold on. So she says, it was very candid, and now I'm obsessed with him. uh, this further solidifies why Queen and I were so moved by the episode you all did. The gay community is so small, And when he made the comment about men waiting in the wings to date the same men spoke volumes. The fact that you all were young and dating at the time that he is referencing in the book makes so much sense that people are perplexed on how you all made it that long. There were no representation of long-term gay relationships or gay couples, lesbians included, at that time. And although there are more now, it is still scarce. Not only long-term, but healthy long-term relationships. There's a huge difference. Anywho, bravo, bravo, bravo. The book brought it all home for me. Tell Craig that I said keep up the amazing work. He definitely has two new fans and supporters. P.S. I Googled 710 Peachtree Street because I needed a visual. Also, is Wendell that he's referencing or referring to in the book the same Wendell that was on the show? Woo, child. That book was juicy. That book was juicy. That friend group definitely has history. So, anyway, I read the message and then I responded to them and I said, wow. Then I said, I'm fucking smiling ear to ear. She got it. She understood what I wanted to convey. Just wow. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing this with me. Then I said, it brought a tear to my eyes. Dot, dot, dot. Now I'm crying. Then I said, thank you. Just grateful. Thank you. And I just kind of got moved. I was just crying. I'm almost getting a little emotional now thinking about it. But after I read it and I was typing this message to them, I just started crying because it goes back to what I was saying to you at the beginning of this video. You have to take life by the horns and chase your dream and do whatever it is. And I just was thinking as I was reading that message, that book, I released that book in 2012. It's now 2014. That was 14 years ago. Just imagine if I hadn't taken the chance. If I hadn't taken the chance to write that book and publish that book, there were so many times that I thought about quitting. There were so many times that I thought about giving up because I didn't have a major publishing company behind me, because I was doing it on my own. There were times that I could only print 10 or 15 books at a time. But one by one, people heard about that book. And it just brought me to this, it brought me to that moment when I was reading that message. And so it was just a full circle moment. You know what I mean? It was a full circle moment. So I appreciate you for sending that message. I really do. Thank you for that. And yeah, one by one. And my mom, thank you. And my mom used to tell me, you know, because I told you guys this story before when I did a signing in the very beginning. I did a signing in Philadelphia, and I have not done a signing in Philadelphia since this one, which was in 2012. And I've never gone back to Philly to do a signing because there were only like three people that showed up at the signing. There were only like three people that showed up at the signing. And my mom, she knew I was disappointed. She could see it because I had all of these books that I had brought with me, thinking that I was going to sell all of these books, and there was only three people there. So I had to pack all those books back up and take them back. And my mom was looking at me as I was packing up, and she said, well, I know you're not upset, are you? She knew damn well I was upset. She said, I know you're not upset, are you? And I don't even know if I really said anything because she kind of continued and she said, well, all of the signings, you can't have a huge turnout at all of the signings because I had just done two signings, one in Baltimore, one in DC, and they were packed. She said, you can't have you can't have, a huge sellout or turnout at every signing. She said, if those three or four people tell another three or four people, and then those three or four people tell another three or four people, it starts to spread like that. And when she said it, it kind of made me think, and it kind of made me feel, it kind of took a burden off of me. It lifted something off me. And then she went on to say, and I'm not going to go into the whole story because I've told this story before, but there was a young boy who came into the signing, but he wasn't really coming to the signing. It was at a gay bookstore, and he had only come in to grab some of the free condoms that they were giving out. Long story short, he ended up coming over to me and talked to me because he heard like pieces of the of the book that I was reading, and he came over to me and we had kind of had a one on one, and he kind of shared his story with me. And so my mom said to me, "And if you had a bunch of people at this signing, you would have never been able to have that time with that young boy. You wouldn't have gotten that. He wouldn't have gotten that chance to talk to you." And so I started looking at it for that. And this is why I say to you guys all of the time, there's always a silver lining. It really is about how you choose to look at any situation. Even if you're driving to work and you get a flat tire, there's a silver lining in that. There's a reason that that flat tire happened en route to your job or wherever you were going. You know, maybe the universe was preventing a car accident. Anything could be happening. You know what I mean? That moment in time, it was a reason. There was a reason for that, right? So all of that to say, just pay closer attention to your life. That's what I'm going to always remind you to do. Pay closer attention to your life and all of the things that are happening in your life. Um, the thing I was going to say about Ryan, I remember it. Um, you guys know that I filmed a new episode of Telling Our Stories this past weekend. It was with Ryan, Greg, Finner, and myself. And the thing that we all have in common is that we've all lost our moms. And when I tell you the children were crying, now I didn't cry this time, um, but the children got to crying. And the reason that I wanted to do this conversation, and this is a different kind of a telling our stories, because usually telling our stories, you know, the whole premise of telling our stories is about bridging communities, right? And it's also about conversations that meet at the intersection of queerness, whether you gay, straight, I mean, gay, bisexual, trans, whatever. It's about meeting at queerness and blackness. It's the intersection of queerness and blackness. So every conversation is it meets at the merge of queerness and blackness. But this one is different. I mean, we're not really, because we're all gay, but the subject matter itself is really about us losing our moms. Excuse me. Um, and the reason that I wanted to do this conversation is because when I lost my mom, um, somebody wait, let me see this message real quick. Somebody said buying some land. Hmm. Somebody said, Craig, I think you would be good doing a camp session, like buying you some land out of the city while others with others. I think you would. Oh, okay. Um, the reason that I wanted to do this conversation is because when I lost my mom, I got a lot of messages from people who said, "You've given me the strength or the courage to kind of keep going." Like watching you process this in real time in front of us, and how you've continued your life, and you know, because there were people who I guess were feeling stuck because they had lost someone. And so I wanted to have this conversation because I think that it would really reinforce that. And I think we really said some really great things during that conversation. And you know, usually during telling our stories, I usually just kind of guide the conversation. I don't usually really share a lot. I just kind of ask questions and then kind of let them kind of talk. But in this conversation, this is the first one where I really do kind of talk more to share my experience too with it. But I think that it's going to really be helpful for people. Um, and not even just for people who have lost someone close to them, but those of you who may be caretakers, um, and you may be in the process of losing someone. So I think it's going to be a great conversation for that. Also, I'm about to film another telling our stories. Yeah, Ryan's mom passed after mine. So Fenner's mom passed first. His mom passed 6 years ago, and Fenner was the first to cry during the episode. Greg's mom passed August of 2024. My so those of you who went with me, uh, where did we go? Those of you who went with me to was that when we went to Virgin on the Virgin cruise, the Virgin Voyage cruise? Because I remember I was walking down to the beach or to the pool, and Greg called me and told me his mom died. And then my mom passed. We were on the cruise. Okay, that's what I thought. Greg's mom passed. We were going we were at Bimini. Those of you who went on the cruise, we were at Bimini. We were on the we had ported and we were on at the little beach club. And Greg called me. And I said, "Oh my God." He said, "Craig, I'm calling you because," he said, "I know you're on the cruise." He said, "But I don't want you to see it on Facebook." He said, I wanted to talk to you. And I didn't want you to be like, "Why the fuck you didn't tell me?" And so um yeah, we were at the beach, Mantra. And so then 2 months later, my mom passed. My mom passed in October of 2024. And then Ryan's mom passed after mine. Um, I think maybe 2 months after mine. So anyway, we have that conversation. But then I'm about to film another one the end of this month, just before I go on tour with Fag Talk. Because I wanted to try to get two in the can so that I can be releasing those while I'm on the road. Because I'll be gone most of April. I mean, I'll be back home, but I won't be. When I come back home, I'm gonna be resting. I'm gonna be probably somewhere laid out and sleep. Um, so I'll at least have those and be able to drop those. Um, while I'm gone. Now, the one that I'm going to film at the end of this month is for the lesbians. This is the lesbian conversation. You guys have been asking me for it. And so I already got it lined up. And so we're going to film that. And so my guess is that this one about grief and loss or whatever I'm going to call it. I don't know what I'm going to call it. All of the shows are called Telling Our Stories, but I don't know what this series is going to be called yet. Um, that one is probably going to release first. um that's going to probably release like that first week in April or something like that, maybe the second week in April. And then I'll do the lesbian conversation after that. um So yeah. So I just wanted to fill you in on that. What time is it? I have to go because I got to meet Elliot and them for dinner. So you guys have an amazing day. It was great talking to you, great catching up with you. I am gonna upload that video from my music meeting from the other day. So if it's not today, I'll put it up for you for tomorrow. All right. Have an amazing day. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate your support and continue to take care of yourself and each other. Bye.